What's up, guys? Mitchell Watts with Town & Country TV, and you are looking at the world's fastest production truck ever built. This is the 2020 Roush Nitemare. Before we get started in the video, I've got two shameless plugs for you. First off, this particular truck is available for sale, alabamaford.com. I'll have that link below if you want more information on that. But the better plug for you guys is I want to say a huge thanks to Black Rhino Wheels and Nitto Tires for giving us a set of wheels and a set of tires, and we're going to give away a leveling kit for any particular truck, and we'll ship it to the lower 48 states free of charge. If you want some more information about that free giveaway, that is also going to be linked down below on our other website, tccustoms.com. But once again, follow that link if you want to register for that free giveaway. So this video is going to be a rather lengthy one because it's going to be very detailed. We're going to talk about everything you need to know about the Roush Nitemare and whether it's going to be the right truck for you. We're going to cover the different trims on this particular vehicle, but also the ones that are available in other versions of the Nitemare. And basically, this is going to be everything you could possibly ever need to know about the new 2020 Roush Nitemare. So first up, let's talk about the chassis of the vehicle, so that way you kind of know what you're working off of. This is a 2020 F-150, and it happens to be built on a 302A XLT equipment group. So that basically means it's the highest version that you can get on an XLT. You have a 300 XLT, 301, and then a 302 as well. This is the 302. Now, the reason that we chose the XLT trim level is because of the price point. The XLTs notoriously have a lot more rebates. Sometimes you can get a better deal as far as the chassis is concerned. But keep in mind, it is available on a Lariat. It is not available on a Platinum or King Ranch. So that's something you need to know about. And it's not available on anything less than an XLT. So that's something you need to know. Now, the cool part is this particular one is based on a Super Crew. So you've got the 4 full doors, which is nice because you've got plenty of room seating for 5 people. Now, this vehicle also comes in the Super Cab, which is the 2 full doors, and then the 2 Suicide, 2 half doors, and then you also can even get it in the regular cab, which is obviously going to be the fastest because it's the lightest in weight as far as that's concerned. Now, the cool part is this particular truck, and I might be getting a little bit ahead of myself, but this particular truck does 0 to 60 in 4.1 seconds. The regular cab does 0 to 60 in 3.9 seconds, which is what certifies it as the world's fastest production truck ever built. Not just what's currently being built, but ever built. And so that's a pretty cool thing there itself. But now that we're kind of talking a little bit about done talking about the chassis itself, let's talk a little bit about the exterior aesthetics of what Roush has done to the truck itself. So the first thing you'll do is you'll see that they have put their iconic hockey stick stripe. So you've got a matte black stripe with a red accent that I think looks fantastic, and it runs all the way back through halfway of the door in the rear. And so I think it looks fantastic. Now, the other thing that we didn't talk about is this particular truck is actually a 4-wheel drive. And the reason that we do it that way is because of traction. So if you take this thing to the drag strip in a straight line, you can put it in 4 high and race it, and you've got all 4 tires pulling. We're going to cover that here in just a second. But the other thing that Roush has actually done to the truck is you can see they've actually lowered the suspension. So it's Roush calls it their Roush Sport lowering kit, but it's actually going to be a part that, and a lot of people don't realize this, but this is either identically or very similar to the Ford Performance lowering kit that you can buy from your Ford Performance dealer or us as well. So that's kind of a cool setup there that you need to know about. Now, as far as the wheels and tires are concerned, you do have a set of Continental cross-track tires. They're 285/45 R22. So this is a 22-inch wheel. And as you can see, it is a matte black finish. It's got a very nice rib here so that way it doesn't just look like one massive spoke, but it's a very good looking wheel for a sport truck style of a wheel. The 22 looks good. It's not too big, it's not too small, but it is a very, very good looking wheel. So the rest of the aesthetics that they've done to the truck, they've also rebranded the XLT. They took the XLT off of the F-150 and they put this Roush Nitemare logo, which I think looks fantastic. One gripe that I wish they would have done is I wish they would have gone with an XLT black appearance package, so that way this F-150 was blacked out, but they didn't ask my opinion, so you know, there you go, roll tide. Now, if you're a Doug DeMuro fan like I am, I want to show you a cool quirk and feature. Because this thing is supercharged, they actually change out this little piece right here to show that it is a premium fuel only vehicle. So if you are trying to save money on gas, guess what? This is not the truck for you. But we'll cover that here again in just a minute. Now, the other thing that Roush is notorious for is these rear appliques. You can see it's a matte black applique with a Roush cutout logo of it. And then coming over here to the side, you've also got the Nitemare branding to go with that as well. Now, one of the other things that Roush is notorious for, and I love it because I am a red-blooded American, and that's going to be the American flag on every single one of their vehicles, to proudly say that every one of their vehicles are built inside the United States. In Livonia, Michigan, or actually I think it's in Plymouth, Michigan now, but it's in Michigan is where they're built. So pretty cool setup that you've got there. Now, before we talk about the exhaust system, you'll see that you've got the Jack Roush logo. Now keep in mind, let's keep a little counter going with every single Roush logo or Roush sticker you see, because there's a bunch of them on these trucks. Roush is proud of the product that they give. Now let's talk about this. This is the Roush exhaust system, and what we'll do, let's just pause for a break real quick and let you hear what that exhaust system sounds like. So as you can hear, there's different tones and styles of exhaust sound that you can have out of this truck. Now, the cool thing is this is an active exhaust system. So there's a knob that we're gonna get to here in just a second where you can adjust how the exhaust sounds like as you're driving down the road. You can even plug it up to your iPhone or your iPad app and change how this thing is driving, how the exhaust sounds at each specific RPM, so that way you can completely eliminate drone. Now, I actually sold a buddy of mine, I sold him a truck with Roush F-150 with the Roush exhaust, and he said, man, I don't understand. Why is my back tip black? My front tip is kind of still clean or clear. Well, the reason for that is because this is going to be the exhaust tip that's very loud. This is going to be the one that is much more muffled. And so you've got some things on this tip that it does, basically it's more of a straight through design. It's going to allow more of that soot and things from the engine to pass through to make it louder. And then this one, it stays cleaner primarily because it's a cleaner exhaust. It's not nearly as loud. This is the quiet pipe. This is the loud one. Now let's talk about the rear of the suspension as well. So as you can see, this one has also got a drop in the rear, but it's nothing too dramatic. It's just designed to lower the truck just a little bit. It still has a little bit of a rake, but not nearly as much as it did from the factory, especially being a four-wheel drive. So let's do this. Josh, I'm gonna open the door and show you the inside, but before we do that, I wanna talk about the fuel economy. So as you can see from the factory, the truck originally got 15 on the city and 21 on the highway for an average of 18. And what Roush has done, because they build these things for all 50 states and they have to be CARB compliant and a lot of things that we're going to talk about here in a second, but you can see that they had to recertify the fuel economy on this truck. And so I had a guy that asked me, he said, man, what's the fuel economy on this? I said, man, if you gotta ask the fuel economy, you don't need to be buying the truck. He thought that was hilarious. I promise it was funny. But anyways, you're looking at 11 in the city and 15 on the highway. If you drive it like me, maybe like 4 or 5 miles a gallon. But anyways, one of the biggest confusions ever that you're gonna get on a Roush F-150 is that, hey, wow, look at that. It's only $56,000. That's a great deal. That's not the price. This is the price of the chassis before Ford Motor Company got a hold of it. I'm gonna show you before the video is over. I'm not going to show you right now, but I'm going to show you before the end of the video what the actual Roush window sticker shows. So we'll come back to that in a second. So Josh, let's come on in. Let's take a look at the inside and show you what you've got. Now this is really where Roush Performance has stepped their game up drastically. And I'm going to turn the headlights off so that way you don't hear that thing dinging the whole time. But as I've already mentioned to you, this thing has got an XLT 302A equipment group. So from the factory, it comes with a set of cloth seats. Now you can also do the Lariat, which comes with leather from the factory, but this is a premium set of cat skin leather. You've heard us talk about cat skin plenty of times on our channel, but one of the things that you'll notice is that they've actually got the Nitemare stitched into the seat back, which I think looks fantastic. Now, the only downside to doing the seat back instead of the headrest is that you can't ever just swap out the headrest if you don't want the logo. The logo's there, the logo is staying there. With the headrest, you could technically swap out a headrest and call it a day and get it back to factory. The other thing that you'll notice is you actually have a set of Roush floor mats. Now, if those floor mats look familiar, that's because it is a rebranded WeatherTech floor mat. I think it looks fantastic. I have these exact same floor mats in my personal F-150. Now, they're not branded with the Roush on there, but it is a WeatherTech mat nonetheless. So let's do this. Now that we're on the inside, I'm going to show you a couple of other things that you need to know about the Roush F-150, and that is going to be the active exhaust system. So as I've already mentioned to you, when you crank the truck up, you've got a couple of different versions for the exhaust. You have custom, which is exactly what it sounds like. Hop on your smartphone app, you hop on the iPad app, and you can tweak and tune the exact exhaust sound at every speed and RPM interval. You literally can, it's so granular, it's not even funny. Now the next one is going to be the off-road, which is technically not street legal. Then you have the sport mode, and then touring, which is going to be the most quiet version that you can personally get. Now I love the fact that you've got that knob that's twisting right there. The only downside to that knob is I use this normal tray as a place to put my phone, and as you can see, I've got an iPhone 11 Pro Max, and it it doesn't fit like it used to because it's taking up a portion of this little slot right here. That's my only gripe with that particular setup. But next up, let's talk about some of the factory things that you get in the truck. You got the heated seats, no cooled seats, because once again, this is the 302A equipment group on an XLT. You have to step up to the Lariat to get that. And by my calculation, it's roughly $7,000 to $10,000 swing if you want to step up to the Lariat, all things else being equal. So that's something you need to know about. Now, the other thing that we've already mentioned to you is that every single one of these trucks comes with a premium fuel 91 required, but really what I want to show you is this right here. So this is the actual badging where Roush actually serializes every single one of their trucks that they build. And as you can see, this one is built in the USA, and it's serial number 10, which I think is really stinking cool that they actually serialize them down to the nitty gritty. So it's a pretty cool setup. Now, the next thing I want to show you is one of the things that's very, very subtle, but it's something you need to see it anyways. That is going to be the instrument cluster. Roush actually takes the dashboard apart and they swap out with a new Roush. You can see that Roush logo right there. And then you can also see it's just a different style of an instrument cluster, but it looks fantastic. It's very classy. It's not over the top. You kind of get the point there. And then lastly, from the factory, this thing is a 4-wheel drive where you can actually drop it into 4 high, do your launches. Don't recommend launching in 4-wheel drive, 4 low, but you can. But way I would do it is 4 high, lock the rear differential by pulling this knob out, and then put it in sport mode with the traction control off. If you do that, you can let it rip, tater chip. So let's do this. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the back seat and what those features offer, and then we're going to wrap it up with the engine and then also the pricing of the vehicle as well. So as you can see, someone's trying to find their vehicle over here, but I think they found it. Anyways, what we're looking at on the rear of the vehicle is just like the front, how you have got the WeatherTech mats down here. It also comes with the carpet mats from Ford's factory, but you've got plenty enough storage for whatever you need in this back seat. So the back seat floorboard. Now there's a little lever right here. If you pull that and pop the seat back down, you can see what the seats look like. So I love the fact that they actually embroidered or stitched the Nitemare name into the rear seat as well. So many people forget about the rear seat, that they get so pumped up about their front seat that the back seat doesn't necessarily match with the same stitching. The fact that Roush took the time to do that is pretty stinking cool in my opinion. Now the other thing that you can actually do, I'm going to show you something that's really cool, and that is going to be one of the most hidden features if you've never bought an F-150 is where's the jack? Where is that? So you have a little lever right here. If you pull it, lean it forward, you have got a place for your jack. You have got your fuel filler nozzle for if you run out of gas. You've got a lot of different things that most people don't even know about. Now this seat also folds down, but you actually have to get a tool to get it opened. It's not designed to store stuff back there on the constant basis, but there are a couple of manufacturers that I can't necessarily recommend, but because for legal purposes. But there are some companies out there that make a quick release for that driver's seat as well. So something that you need to know about. Now I'm going to go ahead and pop the hood, talk about what is making this thing the world's fastest production truck ever built, and that is going to be the engine. So in 2018, Ford came out with a newer version of the 5.0 V8. And this is obviously a 302 cubic inches. And what Roush has done is they took this bone stock F-150 and they tore down the entire top end of the motor. and they rebuilt it up with a new intercooler. They rebuilt it up with obviously the massive supercharger on top. And here's one thing that I love about this supercharger is that it is not just you know, a supercharger slapped on. This thing, Roush is known for unbelievably high levels of engineering. And one of the ways that I can prove that to you is the logo that is right here on top of this. So Roush Performance and Ford Performance co-engineered this supercharger together. So let me translate that. When Roush was developing the supercharger, they had all of the data, the research data from Ford Motor Company, so that way they can push the motor to its limit without sacrificing any reliability or daily drivability. So that's something that's very, very, yes, you can get a supercharger from like Whipple or a twin turbo kit, but long term, that engine may or may not hold up. One of the things that I can promise you is you will not find a more reliable supercharger than Roush. And it's not just because we sell them because they're the most reliable supercharger out there. So case in point. Now this supercharger is available on tccustoms.com. We actually are a retailer of that. If you want some more information about a supercharger, we can actually ship to you in the lower 48 states for free. No questions asked, and we also price match. So hit us up if you have any questions about that. But included in this supercharger kit, you also have the cold air induction system that gets fresh air from right here in the front side, and it comes into the air box with a conical style air filter and then shoves it straight into the motor with that supercharger. But I love the fact that Roush Performance actually puts a plaque on here that showcases who the engine was custom built by. And it looks like this one was made by Jeff Edwards Jr., if I'm reading that correctly. But every single person has got their name stitched, or I guess engraved, on this metal plaque, and that is so stinking cool in my opinion. Now the other thing that you need to know about is, because this truck is 50 state legal, you've also got a couple of emblems up here that make sure that everything stays compliant. So this is the CARB certification that shows you that this 2020 model year conforms to all US EPA regulations and things like that. So basically that is a very expensive certificate to get, and it's not easy, and that's the reason that not all of these custom trucks with superchargers are going to be 50 state legal, is because not everybody has that. And if they're selling them in 50 states and they don't have that sticker, they're probably not doing it the right way, the legal way, and the more expensive way. Now, the other thing that we didn't talk about on the front end of the truck is going to be Roush's Synonymous grill. This is a unique style grill that you can't even buy on their website. So I've had some customers, oh, I want to buy that grill. Well, I don't even believe you can. Now, at the time I'm cutting this video, now Roush can change some things, but this grill is not available on their website for sale, as well as this new bumper pad in the front as well. And the other cool part is you've also got the 3 amber lights that just kind of make it look very, very unique. Almost makes it look like a Raptor style grill, but without actually having to pay for a Raptor, and it's lowered, and it's designed to be a kind of a new version of the Lightning, is kind of the way I'm looking at this thing. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about is the actual pricing itself. So the question of the day is an MSRP of $79,485. Is it worth that amount of money to be the fastest production truck ever built? That is the question. I can't answer that. I think this is one of the very first trucks that has got me excited as the Lightning did way back in the day, because you've got the full warranty with a 3-year 36,000 mile bumper to bumper warranty, a 3-year 36,000 mile powertrain warranty, and as you can see, everything else that's included on the truck itself, and with the actual serial number. It's been a long time since I've been this excited about a 2-wheel drive truck, and I hope you enjoyed this thorough video that showcases the new Roush Nitemare. I know I've thoroughly enjoyed studying up on it, actually driving it. It's been an unbelievable ride. I really, really think so. And so I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you're feeling like being awesome, make sure to smash that like button. But most importantly, make sure you hit the subscribe button with the bell notification, so that way you don't miss a single video. If you have any questions, hit us up in the comments, and we'll talk to you later. Have a great day.